Indigenous cultures around the world have long practiced regenerative methods to cultivate, conserve, and sustain land and its resources through reciprocal relationships with ecosystems, a transdisciplinary practice rooted in millennia of traditional knowledge. Building on this ancient wisdom, systems theory, proposed by Ludwig in the 1940s, offered an interdisciplinary framework for understanding complex interacting systems across diverse fields. The contemporary resurgence of generative methods draws on a transdisciplinary synthesis of general systems theory integrated with ecology, permaculture, agroecology, biophilia, and traditional land stewardship, reflecting a culmination of ideas developed over thousands of years. This presentation highlights projects grounded in systems theory, demonstrating how the transdisciplinary approach of regenerative methods are catalyzing real-world change through the energy of critical theory. This presentation highlights two case studies, Rancho Margot and Just Dig It, companies leading the way in industry change, rating scales, and hopeful initiatives. This is a resource to see the shift to restore the planet and global affairs. In the mid-20th century, the dominant scientific paradigm was one of reductionism and narrow specialization. Biologists dissected organisms into their molecular components, and engineers treated machines as isolated mechanisms governed by linear cause-effect relationships. This approach yielded deep insights into individual subsystems, but struggled to explain how complex wholes such as ecosystems, organisms, and organizations exhibited emergent properties that could not be predicted from their parts alone. Bertalanffy and his contemporaries recognized that to address problems spanning multiple domains, a new science of wholeness was needed, one that could reveal isomorphic patterns and general principles underlying diverse systems. Ludwig began articulating general systems theories in the 1940s and 50s as an explicit corrective to reductionism in both biology and engineering. He argued that living organisms are open systems, continuously exchanging matter, energy, and information with their environment, and that classical closed system thermodynamics must be reformulated to account for growth, development, and self-organization. By comparing his concepts with the parallel developments in cybergenetics, Bertalanffy sought to bridge disciplines from physics and biology to sociology and management through a unified conceptual framework that emphasized interactions, feedback, and hierarchical organization. General systems theory forged interdisciplinary connections through a holistic, whole system approach, establishing a common language in the 1940s that gave rise to numerous subfields. Critical theory, coupled with the pressure of climate change, is accelerating the global uptake of the general systems theory and regenerative framework. Rather than merely describing society, critical theorists seek to transform it. By illuminating new ideas and challenging entrenched structures, they disrupt existing power relations to promote social change. Critical theory centers on power dynamics, arguing that knowledge is power. In this age of information, defined by global communication, ideas travel fast and networks can be built quickly. This energy has the potential to reform old extractionist structures and facilitate a paradigm shift. Quotes from General Systems Theory. The whole is more than the sum of its parts. By a system, we understand a set of elements in interaction. Open systems are systems in which the flow of matter and energy between system and environment crosses the boundary. Systems can only be understood in the context of their environment. The whole depends on the interplay with its surroundings. Feedback mechanisms are central to system regulation and control. distinguishing between negative feedback for stability and positive feedback for amplification. Systems theory provides the theoretical foundation for analyzing phenomena in biology, sociology, engineering, and beyond under a unified framework. Enlivening a regenerative framework is key to creating closed-loop systems which are sustainable, ecologically, economically, and socially. The holistic principles support life on Earth and build a bright future for generations to come. Here are some great examples. It's great to relax and take it easy in life. But if we all do our part to manage resources and make mindful choices, changes to what is consumed daily can make lasting impacts on resource extraction. Here is a link to measure your carbon footprint today. Make a commitment to let something go that you don't really need to facilitate a regenerative mindset and make a difference in the world. One of my favorite stories is Rancho Margot. The idea began as Juan Sothium's passion project, the businessman responsible for bringing Burger King to Europe. He changed his life's course dramatically after receiving a terminal diagnosis. He sought solace in the cloud forest of Costa Rica, where he decided to buy a 400-acre cattle ranch. As he worked on his own health, he began to transform the land around him into a vibrant ecosystem. Rancho Margot is a world-renowned regenerative project. The Eco Retreat Center has a 5-star rating and features 30 bungalows, Michelin chef restaurant, hot pools, horticultural school, a yoga training center, and has expanded to support an eco-village of 150 primary residences. Rancho Margot produces its own food, furniture, shelter, and electricity. It is a carbon negative and functions as a closed-loop system with only special commodities imported for use. Edible waste feeds the cows, pigs, and chickens. Compost heats water and regenerates the soil. Animal manure produces methane used as fuel. Rancho Margot is recognized by UNESCO as a regenerative case study and has hosted many learning programs for regenerative methods. This story is an example of how the vision of one person with the efforts of many can help build the road to a bright future. Just Dig It is an amazing organization. Please click on the link. These photos are taken from their Instagram account. They are doing amazing work all over the world, specifically in Africa, where they are restoring the landscape and combating desertification. They create these giant smiles, they call them, which are indents in the earth, which gather water and help plants and trees to regreen the open spaces. Check them out. There's amazing other projects as well. They integrate and support community, ecosystem restoration, regenerative methods. They're an amazing, amazing organization. Rainforest Alliance is an organization which supports indigenous roots of regenerative agriculture. Their tagline is, "Create a world where people and the planet prosper together." Waking Herbs, another great company, has regenerative methods, sustainable practice, fair trade alliances, and is an advocate for indigenous reparations and land protection. Welcome to Food Tank, the think tank for food, action, solutions, and insight and support on the topic of global food systems. Here are 2 lists I recommend you take a moment to have a look. 36 organizations helping solve the climate crisis, and 125 food and agriculture organizations to watch in 2025. Materium is an amazing company. Their slogan, growing the next generation of materials, is exactly what they're doing. This company is using AI to generate recipes for organic materials to replace plastic used for 3D printing. On Materium's website is an open access database and community platform supporting bio-based material innovation, so you can make your own recipes at home and share results with a global network. Keep an eye on this company. They are doing great work for closed-loop systems, zero-waste initiatives, and regenerative methods. Akipa is a digital marketing company for changemakers. Svan is redefining the fashion industry in transparency and sustainability. And The Wall of Hope features a bunch of stories about sustainability and reasons to be hopeful. If you're looking to align a business with your values, EcoVadis is a neutral party which rates a company's sustainability standards with either gold, silver, or bronze. Over 3 million companies have been screened, 150,000 companies rated, and 185 countries covered from over 250 industries. Here are a couple more examples of some great framework companies which are building regenerative foundations. The Canadian Green Building Council is an organization that will help builders to build at certain regenerative, zero waste, sustainable standards. Mossy is a rewilding organization which brings back ecosystem health and brings balance between nature and anthropogenic effects. Like creating a tapestry of life, theories throughout time provide threads to build the fabric of the regenerative framework, drawing on general systems theory of wholeness and living systems hierarchy of life with the energy of critical theory to catalyze the change. The regenerative systems approach is gaining momentum as a method to facilitate global sustainability goals. It operates simultaneously at scales from individual behavior to community governance to regional ecology, ensuring coherence across all levels. A regenerative framework has the foundations to enable lasting change which rebuilds the fabric of life.